Let's open the meeting if we can. I have the assistant town manager read the items on the consent agenda, please.
Yes, Mayor. First item is the Board of Aldermen meeting minutes from May 11th, 2021. Number 2, July being recognized as Park and Recreation Month, and July 16th as Park and Recreation Professionals Day. Third item is release of delinquent parking tickets. Fourth item is release of delinquent water and sewer accounts. Fifth, First National Bank entity authorization. Sixth, resolution authorizing an increase in the micro purchase threshold. 7 is Art Advisory Board projects. And lastly is Elon Art Advisory Board member appointment.
I have a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda. Have a motion, have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's see, we have a special tonight. Amy Gailey, you are here?
Yes, sir.
Why are you here tonight?
I am here to help in the participate in the presentation of an award.
Okay, are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Here's the award, I think.
Mr. Mayor, did you want to explain the?
How about I let you do that? Y'all all know Amy Gailey is our senator representing us. And she's here to present the order of the longleaf pine to a special citizen.
Yes, sir. I am here. So it seemed only fitting that the culmination of years of service is punctuated with North Carolina's highest honor, the Order of the Longleaf Pine Award. This is only given to the most outstanding citizens of our great state. So, Ron?
Not easy, not easy.
Ron Klepsik, you want to stand up and come over here? Should I approach?
Yep, come on up.
Ron, we are here tonight
Why
to.
don't you invite Sally? I think she's there.
Friends.
Surprise.
This is for you. This is the Order of the Longleaf Pine. I think the mayor has some.
Yes, I'm gonna do that after you've made this presentation.
Okay, so. Can I say a few things about the award? and
Yes.
What it is for? Okay, I need my notes for that. You want to just hang on right there?
Sure.
Thank you. So among the honors and awards of the governor that the governor of North Carolina can bestow, none is more valued than the Order of the Longleaf Pine. Since its creation in 1963, it has been presented to honor persons who have a proven record of service to the state of North Carolina or some other special achievement, and to others as a gesture of friendship and goodwill. Upon being named to the Order of the Longleaf Pine, the honoree receives a certificate by which the governor confers upon the recipient the rank of Ambassador Extraordinarily Privileged to enjoy fully all rights granted to members of this exalted order, among which is the special privilege to propose the following North Carolina toast and select company anywhere in the free world. Here's to the land of the longleaf pine, the summer land where the sun doth shine, where the weak grow strong and the strong grow great. Here's to down home, the old North State. So congratulations.
Ron has truly had an outstanding career here. I think as I look back, you served liaison with the fire department, mayor pro tem for a year. I think you conducted the search for our last 2 town managers. And other than that, you were a vital part of Smith Park. We were on that committee together. And it's particularly the playground. And that playground is one of the best playgrounds in Piedmont, North Carolina, if not in the state. I think it has 75 different play stations, and 63 of them were for handicapped people. And you were a major factor in that. And one of the things we do tonight, this board has voted to honor you by naming that playground after you. some point, we're gonna have a ribbon cutting, and we'll have you all back. We hadn't said. Thank you so much. Would you like to say something?
Well, just, I'm a strong believer in public service.
Well, you did a great job. Well, I did mention, when we celebrated our centennial, you were on that committee, and we had something called the Festival of the Oaks that you really worked for and almost started. But you've been a great asset to this town and a great asset to town hall, in particular this board. And we appreciate everything. Let's see. Public comments. Are there any citizens here tonight who'd like to make any comments to this board about their wishes or concern for the town? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing none, we'll close the public comment section. Let's see, ordinance and resolution. Mr. Rodner, the American Rescue Plan, what are we talking about there?
Okay. Earlier this year, the Congress passed and the President signed the American Rescue Plan Act. One of the components of that is to provide funding directly to local governments for sewer and water infrastructure, broadband infrastructure, and some other items designed to help communities come back from the impacts of the COVID pandemic. It is our understanding that we will be receiving about $3.5 million. We have not received any of it yet. It's supposed to be here any day. But in order to accept that money, we need to adopt a budget ordinance that creates the accounts for that money as it comes in. And we'll be back to you as we decide how we're going to spend those funds, and that budget ordinance to allow for the allocation of the expenditures.
Thank you, Dan. Any board members have any questions for our town manager?
I think it's mentioned to us before, we have to have this money spent by 2026.
We have to have it encumbered by 2024 and spent by 2026. Yes.
It's 2 years to do projects that,
Yeah.
once we get that. Very good. Thank you.
Other question or comments from board members? If not, we'll call for the question.
Just, you know, when we're gonna have final confirmation of what we can and can't use the money for? I know I've asked you that before.
Yeah, they are always, they're coming out with new guides seemingly weekly. The law is pretty clear, and I mean, people are, trying to figure out ways around some of it. Sewer and water infrastructure, broadband infrastructure, we can give it to other governments, so we can give some to the state, we give it to the county. We can use it to fund local nonprofits for certain functions. So those are the limits. The question can you buy an asset with it? Can you do maintenance? Does it have to be new? Those are some of the finer questions that we're still trying to get final answers to. And everybody seems to have an opinion, and it hasn't been finalized yet. We're hoping that will be very quickly. The funding is supposed to be coming to us through the state, and that should be happening for the first half of it anyway, very quickly, because the state's had it now, and we should be getting it. We've submitted all the paperwork, so we should be getting it this week, next week, week after, some pretty quickly here.
Thank you. Other comments from board members or questions? If not, we'd have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item D, land development ordinance and text amendment for the LOD. Mr. Soto?
Yes, Mayor and Board. Last week, we held a public hearing on this text amendment to incorporate provisions of new statutes that the General Assembly have adopted, known as 160D, tonight, we'd like to request that the board take a vote on adopting that ordinance and accepting the statement of consistency.
Any questions or comments from board members?
I'd like to comment that she did a fabulous job
Yeah.
on that, and it was a lot of hard work, and I appreciate.
That was a lot of hard work, wasn't it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say no. Yeah, yes. All opposed say no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Let's see, fiscal year 21 in-year budget amendment. Misty?
Yes, this is just a little bit of end of the year cleanup. Some revenues came in more or less. We actually are not having to use any of the appropriated fund balance for the general fund because departments didn't spend all their money or some revenues came in more. It's recording the revenues that we received from federal asset drug money and state drug money. One of the things that I'll point out that will be, it ties back to the Lebanon sidewalk. We are going to go ahead and in this budget amendment, use $2,750 more of our Powell bill fund balance to finish out the sidewalk project. We're going to go ahead and use the funding this year instead of putting it in next year's budget. And then the water and sewer actually came in more than what we had budgeted because we were anticipating some cutbacks with the university being closed and COVID. But so it's just reflecting all of those changes.
Any questions or comments from board members? All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say no. Yes, I'll get it right.
Say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Let's see, fiscal year 22 budget.
You've seen this a couple times now. We held a public hearing last week. We held it over to the following day. We've not received any comments from the public about the budget. And I don't know how much detail you want. We presented a balanced budget. It's within the existing tax rate. One of the things that we are noticing that the sales tax estimates from the state are significantly higher than they have been. That adds about, because we under budgeted this last year, up to their estimate for the current year, that's about $600,000 that is an increase in revenues. So we are able to start working on some of our longer range projects. Obviously, we're doing some of the construction now, ADA compliance. We're going to be making some ADA improvements this next year. Staying on track with our capital plan.
Any question or comments from board members?
What was the net increase last year?
In sales tax revenues,
Total budget.
so last year, we had approved a final budget of $12.48 million. That was after the amendments. I don't know if that includes any amendments from tonight. So if you start with that 12.48, add in the $2 million that we're planning on borrowing for the Travis Creek Water pump station, and that expenditure, that puts you about 14.48. And we're proposing a budget of 15.1995. So we're about $600,000 of actual expenditures above the current year.
Any other questions or comments? Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
I'm sorry.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, business. Source software contract, Misty.
We have been with the same software company since 1996 for our finance and HR software. They've been bought out twice in the past few years. They're no longer doing any product upgrades on the software that we're currently using. So put out an RFP for new software. We received 5 bids back. So we actually evaluated all of the proposals, then we did 2 demos. And we would like to ask the board to approve going with Tyler Technologies for their Encode product. It is like so fabulous compared to what we currently have. It will download reports into Excel, Word, PDFs. It just goes so far beyond what we have. And to us, this was the best product for us. We can actually grow with the product. They currently are doing upgrades. They don't charge for the upgrades. The company that we're currently with, every time they do an upgrade, they'll charge you for it, or they won't load it. And then you don't figure out that there's a problem until you need to do something. So just asking that the board approve going with Tyler Technologies. I have had Joe review the contract and he was good with everything in it.
Any questions or comments from board members?
What do you anticipate as a transition to get off the old software?
They want us to actually go live as close to the beginning of a fiscal year as possible. It eliminates having to do a lot of entries. So we're hoping to do the conversion and get ready to actually go live next July 1.
So we'll have to maintain 2 databases for a while.
Pay them as well.
For this fiscal year, hopefully it'll only be a couple of months into the following, in like July 22. Hopefully it won't be too much.
We have a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Long overdue.
Yes.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank y'all.
Let's see, Josh Johnson. We hadn't seen you in a while.
No, I,
The exact same thing.
the last meeting I was at was the meeting right before COVID. Really, right before COVID. March meeting of
No, you
2020.
did.
Zoom, yes, Zoom, but the last time I was in here in front of y'all was because I remember discussing in depth the trend, how to do a state of emergency. Yeah. So this is different. So this is the first item is the fiscal year 22 road resurfacing contract. Several years ago, we established a paving plan based off of an evaluation of streets in Elon. And included in your packet is a update of that paving plan. We've updated it over the time based upon changes to the streets and based upon pricing. So this year, we've been doing a paving resurfacing project every 2 years. Since that time period, over the last roughly, I think 2016 was when the paving project was done. So we've been doing them every 2 years. This year, we actually, according to Misty, had run the numbers and said that we had the funding to do one in fiscal year 22. So that's why we're coming in with one and kind of getting ahead a little bit, we'll say. We solicited bids from publicly through the paper as well as individually through different paving contractors. I think last year we had like 7 or 8 people bid on the contract. This year we had 3. That's mostly because every construction company is swamped with work right now. And But the three that we got were, we got a bid from Sharp Brothers, who did the paving last year. We got a bid from Turner Asphalt, who did the project 3 years ago. And we got a bid from Fred Smith Company, which used to be Riley Paving, which has an asphalt plant in eastern Alamance County. Sharp Brothers was the low bid. They're at three, but they were over budget. So then we pulled stuff out of the scope in order to bring them back into the budget. We knew when we put it out to bid that what was included in the bid package was more than what we were going to end up with. But we wanted the ability to say, okay, this is the most we can get, and then we'll back it back down into our budget. So that's what we did. We ended up with, we're paving, we're fixing a subgrade issue that we discovered last year on Atkinson Avenue. We are paving the section of West Lebanon Avenue that's directly out here that we tore up 8 years ago with the water and sewer improvements. And that's always been the plan, was to come back and pave it inside of the resurfacing contract. We're addressing the West Trollinger right out here, the section between Holt and Williamson, which is also really degraded because of traffic with the light and with traffic turning and going down Holt. And then we're doing Franz Court, Pin Oak Court, Longbrook Court, and Running Brook Drive. Those are all on our list as far as, being addressed. When we're addressing our streets based off of our pavement rating, we like to group them together. And so that's the reason that we're doing Pin Oak, Longbrook, and Running Brook, and Franz all at the same time. That saves some cost for the contractor because he doesn't have to move equipment all over town. We've also combined that with streets we felt like really needed to happen right then. I think that's everything. So we're asking.
Questions, comments from board members?
Just what Josh has described is what I'm kind of concerned about when we talk about these stimulus money projects, that there's so much money out there that as everybody starts getting the projects into the queue, we're going to have no shortage of money. We're just going to have a shortage of contractors to do the projects. And for that reason, expect there'll be some adjustments that are going to have to be made, but we've already seen the first wave. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, and for reference, Davis, whenever he mentioned that sales tax was up, it's because everything is up.
Other questions, comments? We have a motion to approve the award.
Yes, sir. I'll make the motion.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. West Lebanon Avenue sidewalk construction contract.
Yes, sir. So we bid we designed and then we bid the West Lebanon Avenue sidewalk, and that is from Manning to Church in front of the apartments, West End apartments that are on Lebanon at the very end of the part that I consider downtown. I don't remember if it's really in Kathleen's downtown or not, but at the very end. And that's the only section of that street that doesn't have sidewalk. So we actually only got one bid on that. We solicited from a host of bidders who have bid on sidewalk projects over the last 10 years. And apparently sidewalk companies or people who do sidewalk apparently have even more worth than paving contractors. But the one that we did get a bid from is Holland's Construction Services, who have done quite a few sidewalks and municipal sidewalks over the last 5 years, including for projects that Allie Williams did, not projects that the town did. But we've been very happy with them, and their bid is actually within the budget. So because this was an informal bid, we only needed one bid. So that's the reason we're progressing with the project, or asking to progress with the project.
Any question or comments?
Josh, there's no holes or other obstructions down that side of Lebanon they have to contend with?
No, sir, there are not. We are,
ADA compliant.
yes, we did. We ADA compliant, and we are basically right on the right of way, the railroad right of way line. So we are still acquiring our railroad approval and an easement from the apartment complex, but we've had negotiations with negotiations is the wrong word. We had discussions with the apartment complex owners and they are agreeable.
Okay.
Other comments or questions?
How long will that sidewalk be? How many yards or feet? How do you?
Wonderful question, Monty, and I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head.
I'm just curious what it is per linear foot.
I will figure that out and let you know in just a minute, but because I don't know and I
That's fine.
absolutely should know.
Caught you off guard. I apologize.
Yes, I will give you an answer, yes, by the time we leave.
Still on the maps, 1 inch to 200 feet, and it looks like it's a little over an inch.
I think the number in my head is like 394 feet, but I don't remember if that's actually correct or not, but I want to check before
That's fine.
A tenth of a mile is what we submitted to the NPO. We did request funding from the NPO for this project and we did not receive it. And that paperwork indicates a tenth of a mile.
Tenth of a mile, yeah, it'd be about 500 feet, but so roughly 400 feet, roughly. I'll find out. I have that. I can find it on my phone, but yes.
Other question or comments? We have a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Josh. The town managers.
Okay, we took a week off last week with our downtown music and starting this Friday, it's kicking back in from 6 to about 8. Our downtown music to dine to will feature the Funky Confusion Band. They'll be playing under the tent on West College. And we're working with members of the promotions committee of the downtown group to schedule additional bands for July and August. Several of you mentioned that you received comments about broadband service in Elon. State is asking about service levels, perhaps in conjunction with some of this federal funding, I'm not sure. They established an online survey for people to fill out. You all have a broadsheet on that with the QR code and the link. So it can be accessed through NC Broadband. And we published the link on our website. Encourage you all to share that liberally with your constituents and let them know that there's an avenue they can voice their concerns or opinions about broadband service in general. As we've talked about over the last several months, we are undertaking a ADA compliance study, Americans with Disabilities Act. It's an assessment of public facilities, and we are winding the project down, but we're trying to generate some additional public input, so we need help from the public. You have a second broadsheet of another survey that is also on our website, and we're asking people to fill that out, identify issues that they're aware of, things that they see that shortcomings or additional needs for the Elon community. So we'd ask everyone to take a look at that and fill out the questionnaire. And just a reminder to everybody to check out the town calendar under our community on our website. Has information on all the ongoing activities in the town, the rec facility, board meetings, other committee meetings and things of that nature. So keep your eye on that, and that tells you what's happening. That's all I've got.
What's the status of the July meeting?
I believe last week you folks voted to cancel it.
Unless something comes up that we need to,
Unless something comes up.
like we canceled it for a couple of years if something came up.
Tried to last year, yeah.
Let's see, comments. Mr. Green?
Just want to congratulate Ron Klepchik on his award, well deserved. I enjoyed working with Ron on the board for numerous years, and he's was a huge asset to our board. And I'm glad he had family and friends that were able to come and kind of sneak in and surprise him. So that was good. So I think that was well deserved. Also wanted to ask how Diane is doing with her.
She is progressing.
Okay. Definitely send her our thoughts and prayers with her recovery.
I believe she's online, so you just send them to her.
Diane, you heard me. We definitely thinking about you and hope you're recovering well. And then finally, thanks to Rich and to Misty for the budget and putting that together. Always, that's a huge thing to do, and getting all the departments and everything together. And so thank you for that. Appreciate it. That's all.
Ray?
Want to echo Mark with Ron. I think I said it last month. Always a huge asset to me, and a nice mentor leading into becoming an alderman. Always took time to answer my phone calls, have coffee with me, talk to me what it meant to be an alderman. So it's a well-deserved award for him. I'm looking forward to seeing some color in our downtown and throughout our town with the projects that the Art Advisory Committee has. I mean, I work with that committee, so I appreciate the board passing those, and looking forward to seeing what it brings to the town. Thanks to the budget committee and Rich and Misty for putting together a nice budget. It's nice to go in with being financially sound and moving forward. And then I'm trust that Emily and Monty are working diligently, or Davis are working diligently on the outline of resolution ordinance of non-discrimination. But other than that, I hope everybody has a fun July 4th. I hope to see the downtown music's always fun. Seems to be a nice crowd, kids running around. So come out and enjoy it. It's nice to have in our town.
Sharp?
Let's see. Sorry, I missed the meeting last week. We were on family vacation. I have really enjoyed the Fridays. It just so happened that the one that was canceled was on my vacation. So I think that was just meant to be. Because I think we've only missed one other Friday with music, and they've been really great. So kudos to Kathleen and other members of the team who've put those together. Like Quinn mentioned, Davis and I, along with Rich, met again regarding the equality resolution and discussions around, feedback that we had received from you all, as well as feedback that we had received from residents via email that were sent to all of us. So we're still working on that. We did discuss the most recent changes with Joe Kalo, and there were a couple of other requested edits. So hopefully by the August meeting, we might have something for us to discuss. And let's see, I have my notes here. In the Longleaf Pine Award, when it comes to people who are eligible for that and receive that, I can't think of anybody more suited for that than Ron. He is just a real gem to our town. And like Quinn, when I decided that, well, I don't even think I had decided, I just thought maybe I wanted to run for office. Ron was the first person that I talked to, and he was so helpful and just open and honest about the role. And I still talk to him regularly. I don't remember why, but he called me like 2 weeks ago, and it was just really good to hear from him. So it's really good to see him.
Ms. Allison?
Yes, just like everyone else has said, I want to give kudos to Ron Klapsik. When Ron moved into our neighborhood, when he moved to Elon, he was one of the first neighbors in my cul-de-sac, and so he's been a long time. He's a giving person. He's always been one who wants to make our community better. Just as Mayor said, the Festival of Oaks was one of his inspirations that helped kick that off. So he's always giving back. He's a humble person, which makes it even better because he didn't expect it. It was funny. I talked to his wife, Sally, and she was not really clear about what all he was being honored for. And so when Diane said, just find a date, so she arranged to get her daughters to come. And so I think it was really special. He was really caught off guard, and I'm so proud to see him. He's in good company. There's a lot of people that who have won the award over the years, and So you should be really proud of that. So glad of that. I appreciate the work that Missy and Rich and team have done on our budget, as well as those who stepped up in Diane's absence. I mean, I know it's when she's out, you know how much you miss her. So I appreciate everyone stepping up, Kathleen and everyone else and staff doing so. One thing I would like to mention, as we talk about, I know it's kind of quiet in town now, but those of us like Emily and I myself, and she had mentioned this in one of our meetings about, keeping Elon clean and beautiful. And we've made some efforts to clean up. One thing I'd like to see us try to do is try to come out strategically and create some trash receptacles where people can pick up the litter or throw the litter around. And that's something that that's sorely needed, particularly around, we have some nice sidewalks, and it's a shame when you see people throw stuff out. And I think people would be more inclined to pick it up and throw it away if they didn't have to tote it back home or back downtown. So that's something I'd like to see us take a look at. That's it, Mayor.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes, sir. Thank you. You need to just add to what everybody else has, because if you can't let a moment go or an opportunity go when you can't thank Ron Klepsik for what he did, what he has done for the town. How many years was it again?
20.
20 years. So outside of yourself and
Let's
Mr.
see.
Gantos and
Mr. Gantos has the most,
Right.
21 years, so
Mr.
many
Slade.
months.
and Mr. Slade at 19.
Oh, he beat Mr.
I
Slade.
think he did just barely, like you just had slightly more than Mr. Slade did.
Yeah, Mr. Gantos.
So, I mean,
And
that's,
and Ron, so we've had 3 board members that have 20+ years, which is pretty amazing. I
yes,
think.
yes, it is. It really is. And I was fortunate. I knew Ron's wife, Sally, well before I knew Ron. And she's every bit as nice as Ron. They're a good team. So thank you. And thanks for Senator Gailey being here tonight to make the award presentation, to take time out of her schedule. I know they get a lot of ask, and we're fortunate that she took the time to come here tonight, but for
She had to flex her schedule. Originally, she thought she was gonna be last, and she canceled a couple of things so she could be here.
Huh.
Yeah, they were in session starting at 4 this afternoon and ended up just in time for her to leave to get here on time.
I
So
mean, wouldn't you love to just jump in a car in Raleigh and drive across traffic?
Be Elon.
Well, that's the highlight of the day.
That's
The
right.
rest of it was the downside. I want to thank the folks, Phyllis Creech and Monty and the others who identified the mystery fruit at the park. It's now we know the idea of the annual Asian apricot,
Japanese apricot.
Japanese apricot festival is something that maybe we can consider here. But that I was just amazed at how many of those were on
I think Monty's already working on that, right?
he's the
Aren't you
chair.
lying?
I'll get back to you, Rick.
The chair and the co-chair. Absolutely wish Diane the best. Just take care of yourself and get back on your feet and get well as soon as you can, Diane, and let us know if there's anything we can do for you. Everybody's mentioned the budget. I can't miss that opportunity as well. We're in a much starkly different place than we thought we would be as we look back a year ago, and that's pretty darn amazing. Then to add to that, the taking on of the sewer lift station and the other things that we're doing in there, and to do that with a no tax increase. That's a great juggling act, and we appreciate everybody working together to get that done. As Emily said, we're working towards and looking forward to bringing you something in August. After we get comments from Mr. Kalo on the equality resolution, we want to have the board members have one last chance to weigh in on that, see if there's anything else you'd like to add or have a discussion about. And then, as Emily said, we hope to bring that to you in August for something for you to look at. And Mayor, I also understand the pub is now officially open. If you need my phone number.
I bet he has.
I'll invite you all over.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'd like to send my regards to Diane. We miss you. We hope for a speedy recovery. And also on the budget committee, fantastic job again. And like I say, I think our town staff and particularly the road has done a super job with COVID and everything. And finally, I would like to announce tonight that I will not seek re-election next term. Some of you know I started out on the appearance commission. I was at home one Saturday morning. I got a call from Beth Smith. She said, "We want you to be on the appearance commission." At that time, I was a head coach at Elon. I was wondering why in the world they wanted me to be on the appearance commission. I served there for 2 or 3 years, and then I ran for the board. And ran for 6 years. 6 years I was there. And then I ran for mayor for 2 terms. And then I thought I'd given it all up, and I had another call from Beth Smith, wanted me to chair the Parks and Recreation Commission, which you also served on.
Yes, sir.
And then I did come back and serve for 4 more terms. So my total service to the town is 38 years. And so I'm stepping away, and I'm sure we're gonna have some good candidates to step forward. We've always had a good board, and I'm sure we'll continue that. And I appreciate everybody's support here for me being on the board and all the past. I think I counted up. I've seen 19 of our board members. I think I've seen 4 town managers and 2 interim town managers and 4 chief of police. But it's an amazing place to be mayor. It's an amazing town. And I look forward to many years being here. And thank you.
Mayor, we refuse to accept that. Congratulations. That is remarkable.
I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.
$225 a linear foot.
220.